Hello, future me. I forgot to do my vlog yesterday, but I guess that makes this recap all the more fun. Yeah, so I had a fun weekend at my friend's house. We played A Way Out, which was really fun. That was a co-op adventure-ish story game. It was really fun. I enjoyed that game. It had a really nice story. And yeah, then I didn't really do much at home. I made baked potatoes, garlic parmesan topping, sort of. I made some for my friend as well, but I burned them because his electric oven is a little better, and I wasn't used to it. And well, I'm not used to it, so I don't know how it works 100%. In the sense that I don't know its little tricks and stuff that you find out over time with devices you use. Like, I don't know, like, for example, my oven at home, on the pan, on one side of the pan, so towards the back left, it burns things, it cooks them or bakes them more intensely than on any other side for whatever reason. But these are things that you learn in time. I didn't know that. I left it as for the amount of time that it said it should be for the baked potatoes, but I didn't know that it would burn them because I've put it at exactly the right degrees that it said, but it didn't say if it should start the bottom only or the top or both. So we used both so that the bottom and the top are heating up the food. I'm assuming that's probably why. It probably only needed the top or the bottom. Besides that, I made some today. I didn't burn these today because it was in my oven, so my mom's oven, and I know how it works. I know all the stuff about it. So I left them in for 30 minutes. They were semi not cooked, and I kind of burned them a little bit on the bottom, just a little bit, just the ingredients. So I think I need to adjust the temperature because this one's a gas oven. It's not an electric oven, so it says 190 degrees. Well, what it says it in Fahrenheit. I translated it. It's 190 degrees in Celsius. I don't have Celsius degrees on my oven since it's a gas oven. I just have like a flame intensity, so I put it on the medium one. Apparently that was too high, so I'm gonna turn it down a little next time so I can leave them for a little more time and bake them more thoroughly. They weren't unbaked. They just weren't well baked, if that makes sense. Anyway, not the point. Had a test on Monday, did a challenge on COD, streamed on Friday. I didn't stream on Monday because I caught up on that COD thing, so I'm gonna try and stream Friday nights, or technically Friday evenings for American time, and Monday evenings for American time, because those are the for now, those are the times that I can do. As I get more closer to my exam session, so in like a week, about 2 weeks maybe, I'll have more free time because I can study than stream. I'll be able to stream more frequently, so I'm gonna do that. And besides that, what was I gonna talk about? Right, I'm watching this anime. I haven't finished it yet, called Psycho-Pass, and the idea about it is that it's a futuristic world where where humans develop the system that can detect your criminal intent. So it doesn't know what you're thinking. It just can detect your if your intent is criminal, in a way, if that makes sense. So like if you're obviously thinking or planning about robbing a store, it would sense that criminal intent. It doesn't know exactly what you're intending to do, but it knows that something that you're thinking about has criminal tendencies. I don't know how to explain it very well. It's just, it's very very dystopian, sort of, I guess. So the idea is to create this perfect world where criminals get put away before they commit crimes. I'm sure that I know there's been other topics that other forms of media that tackled this problem, but I guess I thought about it, and it was always an interesting idea to me. I just I've never seen those things or read those things. Like, I've never read the books that cover this topic. If there are any, there probably are. movies or anything, so this is the first time I'm sort of watching a story about it. But I wanted to talk about that topic. How do you determine that someone has criminal intent? So that's a very good thing that's nuanced in the show and the anime, is that well, they have these weapons, and the weapons are connected to the system, and when you point them at a person, if you're authorized, obviously they have like some authorization system. When you point them at a person, it determines their criminal level, and it determines its ability, so the gun's ability, based on that criminal's intent. So it has a paralyzed mode and a lethal mode. The non-lethal mode is supposed to shoot a person and paralyze them, so that way you can take them in for therapy or arrest them. And then the lethal mode is for criminals that are posing a danger to people around them, or are really like serial killers or something, you know, like really intent on doing something really bad. So the interesting part about this is that in, I think it's the first episode, they have a case where this woman gets kidnapped by this guy. So this guy refuses to go to therapy. They sense that he has criminal intent for whatever reason, and the police come over and they offer him therapy and stuff. He refuses, and then when they want to arrest him, he runs away, and that raises his criminal intent. And then because he's already in trouble, he kidnaps a woman to get away, and he takes her somewhere, and he said he thinks to himself that just because he's already in trouble and he's gonna get put away for life, because usually it seems like for this show, if you have criminal intent, and it's unlikely that you'll get rid of it, and you'll always have this, and they'll put you away. Even though they do periodic scans, you'll still have criminal intent. So he thinks, oh, I'm going to be put away for life. He wants to force himself upon her. So not to use certain words. He wants to force himself upon her because he says something like, oh, I've always wanted to be with a pretty girl like you, or something really creepy, dude. And he starts forcing himself upon her when the cops get there. So the main characters are supposed to be detectives. They get there and they point the gun at him, and it shoots to paralyze, but he doesn't get paralyzed because I guess it's supposed to sort of show that stun guns don't always work. So he takes the woman and runs away past them. And he runs with her. He traumatized her a lot. She seems very dead inside, based on like when he's running with her and he's still saying creepy things to her. They catch up to him, so like they cut him off somehow, and they corner him, and eventually he lets go of the woman. I don't remember exactly how it happens, and his criminal intent was already through the roof now, so the gun turns into lethal mode. They shoot him with the gun. The gun isn't like a normal gun, so it shoots like a laser. It hits him, and it creates like a sphere that deletes everything, I guess, or like blows them up, sort of. And he gets basically like just deleted from like the bottom of the chest upwards. So like it's just like his arms are sort of cut off, and his like bottom of his body and stuff, really gruesome. And he explodes like this in front of that woman that was already traumatized. And this guy that's supposed to be an enforcer, so he's a person who has criminal intent but is working with the police to stop other criminal, I think they call them criminal latent people. The idea being that he's useful for this type of work because he already has criminal intent. He just needs to follow the rules of some detective that they call inspectors. Anyway, he sees this woman. He points the gun at her to scan her, because the gun also scans you when you point it at someone. And her criminal factor was in the lethal range, and basically she was traumatized and was in the self-defense mode, and sort of like, just imagine what she went through. And the gun determined that she's gonna become a criminal, so he was gonna shoot her, but this inspector girl paralyzes him with her gun because he's a criminally latent person being an enforcer. So he paralyzes him with her gun. Anyway, the idea being he paralyzes him with her gun, yeah, and then they take the the girl and that was traumatized, the victim, they take her to therapy and stuff, and she recovers and doesn't commit any crimes and becomes, by the system standards, a normal person again. So yeah, this is the idea I wanted to talk about, I guess, was how do you determine if someone's going to do something just because they're thinking it? It doesn't have to be necessarily about crime. It could be, it's interesting when it's about crime, right? Because someone can feel hate and really wanna like do something about that hate, and they really have this passion and hate inside, right? For something, I don't know, it could be stupid things. Like there could be, I don't know, you could have, for example, someone who just happens to hate someone else because of something they did to them that affected them, but it wasn't something criminal, in the sense that, for example, breakups or friendship betrayals, or you know, stuff like this where people fight and argue over something, or something about money, you know, like friends fighting over money, something like that. And then the other person will really hate this person and think they're such a piece of crap, or that they would have this, let's say, criminal intent in their head, but they would never act upon it because they know it's wrong and they know it's not okay, and they know, so like they know that that's a human, but they fantasize about it, right? A lot of people fantasize about something like this. It doesn't only have to be about crime. For example, a lot of people fantasize with sex and porn. They fantasize about things. And so, for example, for the crime one, because this is the interesting topic where people get put away, how do you determine that someone that has criminal intent is going to act upon it? If you put everyone that has criminal intent in jail away, you kind of negate one of the emotions of humans, which is anger, because people can be angry. Their criminal intent factor, based on how the show works, would raise, right? So that in the moment they would be like furious and might want to smack someone, and which would be a crime, it would be assault, but they won't. They can restrain themselves. Then they can get better, and they'll forget about these events. They'll create new memories that are happy and forget about the furious anger ones, and they never act upon them. So if you put that person in jail, you basically doomed that human being for life for having a thought. So that's the important part here, for having a thought, because this seems to be big around people speaking on social media platforms, and the social media platforms banning them. It's sort of like, how do you know that system doesn't have a bias? How do you know the system is 100% correct? How do you know that person can't be fixed? How do you know that person can't go to rehab for something? Like, let's say it's a drug user and they have a criminal intent that's high, and then you could have sent them to rehab. They could have gotten better and gotten a job and have a productive life in society and been a normal person and been happy. But instead, the system determines that person's a criminal, for example, and then takes them and you take them and put them in jail. When they're in jail, they're not gonna get better. If the way the show shows that it's in jail is that you stay in your own cell and you don't ever come out. So it's like sort of isolation. When you put someone in that state, they either just become completely like a vegetable, or you don't reduce their criminal intent either way. So I've been thinking about that, and how do you determine that someone's going to act upon their criminal intent is a very interesting question that I don't know how to answer, because if I knew how to answer, obviously, you know, if I knew how to answer it, then other people would have had the answer to this, and they would have thought up a system and this would have been developed. But it poses an interesting problem. How do you determine who can be fixed and who can't be fixed, basically, is the question, right? And fixed is another loose term that I'm throwing around, because you can't really, it's not, you're not fixing someone, you're fixing them by your standards. So you assume that it's morally wrong to kill other people. This is a law that everyone considers morally bad, right? To harm another human being is morally bad. But at the same time, this is something that we developed as a society, as humans. So how do you know How do you know it's wrong? What's right and wrong is flexible depending on who the person is, what the society is, right? Some societies think women shouldn't drive or shouldn't have jobs. Other societies think that's wrong. This is why I'm saying fixing a person is a loosely thrown around term, because you're fixing them by society's standards, by your standards, by what you consider moral and what's not moral to you, which is why you come back to this criminal intent thing. How do you determine someone has criminal intent? What's criminal? Well, I don't know. Maybe they thought about, let's say, right, everyone agrees that murder is wrong. Everyone agrees that stabbing or harming another human being is wrong, but mentally, physically, right? But then let's get into something interesting. What if someone doesn't have this criminal intent, right? Because they don't consider themselves to do wrong. There's been some serial killers who were smiling and happy, and they seemed like they didn't have a soul, right? To us, to like the rest of us who we consider that we're normal and they're abnormal. They didn't care. Would their criminal intent thing, like the psychopaths, be higher, or would it be low? For example, there was a dude in the show who he was being bullied, so his criminal intent would slowly rise, and then he would kill someone and it would drop, and then he would get bullied, it'd slowly rise, then he would kill someone and it would drop. And this is how he was maintaining his psychopath level below government standards, so that way he wouldn't be labeled as a criminal, but he was acting out on these criminal intents. It's just that his thought process wasn't, he didn't feel that what he was doing was wrong, right? So his psychopath, his criminal intent level wasn't really rising too much to get out of bounds, because obviously he premeditated these murders, so he thought about them, but he didn't feel so bad because he felt they were justified. So, for example, how would you hire someone for the army if, okay, it becomes a really gray area of what's morally wrong and what's morally right. And I thought that was an interesting question that would be interesting for this discussion. If anyone has any opinions about it, you can always write it in the comments. I read, if anyone writes a comment, I'll read it and I can respond to it next time if this seems to be an interesting topic. Besides that, I guess that's about it. I have been, so I one of my friends said that, he said, "Oh, I thought you were relieved. How are you still sad?" Well, I'm relieved in the sense that about my relationship, right? Or my past relationship. I'm relieved in the sense that I don't feel guilty about what has been happening. I don't feel 100% at fault anymore, is why I feel relieved. I feel more like even 50% at fault is better than what I felt before. And yeah, I guess that's why I'm relieved. That doesn't mean I still don't miss her. That doesn't mean I still don't love her. That doesn't mean I still don't hurt about it. Oh, I did, that reminds me. I did karaoke with my friend on Discord, just us two, on Sunday, I think, afternoon. And I'm thinking about doing karaoke with a friend. Hopefully he's up for it. For YouTube, which should be fun, just messing around singing songs really badly should be fun. Maybe even, no, we can't stream it because DMCA strike. Probably gonna get copy striked on YouTube as well because of the song, but we're here to have fun. We're not see, this is what I'm saying. What's morally correct, right? A lot of us think that karaoke and then uploading it to YouTube or a cover song isn't copy strikeable, but some companies can copy strike over that because that's the law. So is the law correct or are we correct? What's morally right? Is it stealing if we're doing karaoke? Is it stealing if you're doing your own cover of it, like you're recreating it in your own way? Is it stealing? So for example, I think it's stealing if you were to recreate it from the ground up and copied it 100% and didn't change anything at all. But then again, that's only if you were profiting off of it. If you're not profiting off of it and you do this just for the sake of proving that you can do it, then is it wrong again? I don't think it's wrong at that point, but it's wrong if someone copies it then sells it. It's it's again really debatable, fun topic. So yeah, I guess that's gonna be it for the recap today. I'll try to recap my day tomorrow if something interesting happens. If nothing interesting happens, I think I'm gonna slow down the vlogs a little because I need to find something to talk about. It can't just be empty space. So yeah, tomorrow's gonna be a full day. Then Thursday I plan on changing something in the bathroom. I'm also planning soon to get rid of this bed. I don't know, 4 or 5 months, 6 months, something like that. I'll have to see when I finish school and stuff. I want to get rid of this bed and get one of those extendable ones that I saw one of my friends had, and I always wanted one of those so I can have more space in my room. And besides that, I can't wait to finish school so I can throw out all these papers that just stack everywhere with I always hoard these school papers because I think, what if this one's going to be useful? What if I need this for another class? What if I need this for this class? What if I fail this class and I need it in the future? And I just stack them on top of each other, and now everything's full with like papers. All my shelves are full with papers from college, and I just can't wait till I can throw it all out. Yeah. I guess that's it. That's it for today. All right. Thank you, future me, for watching. I'll see you in the future. I hope you're happy and having a good time in the future. All right. Bye.